Hello, everybody. We're live.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. All right, we are live. We are excited. We're also on Clubhouse, and we're going to tell you a little bit about this show in just a second. We are having a hey. This is like the first show, so we're gonna be.
There's Mariann. Hey, Mariann.
What I was trying to do is I was trying to mute the volume on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that happened to me too. So, hello, everybody. It is the premiere of the Golden Women Show. So excited. I'm actually going to give the mic over to Lynnis, who can get us kicked off. But just a reminder, we are streaming live on YouTube, and we are also live on Clubhouse. So if you'd like to join us on YouTube, I guess I can give the link to Tony. It looks like Tony is our only guest here, but only and best and grateful. Yes, we're here. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to YouTube in the Clubhouse chat if you're interested. But let's get this party started.
All right. Hey, everybody. It is fantastic to be here on the Golden Woman Show. And let me just tell you, first of all, that Mariann, Aalda, and Terri, Holley. Terri, you're nameless with your last name there. Are you incognito there? Okay, Terri Blank. We all met on Clubhouse over a year ago. And from that has formed this, is it 2 years now? Right. From that, we have formed this friendship, which I so value, because even though we're not on Clubhouse the same way we used to be, we still have stayed in touch through this text string where we're talking all the time. And when we were on Clubhouse, for a while, we had a little something going on in Clubhouse, and then we decided to retire it. But what made us decide to do this again was we were just talking back and forth about the Golden Bachelor and our feelings about all of that. And as we were talking, I was like, gee, this would be kind of fun to do as a show. And Mariann was like, hey, what do you guys want? And I was thinking, and Mariann said, why don't we do this as a show? Talking about our opinions, not just on the Golden Bachelor, but on everything else. Because the main underlying thing that we were talking about was the ageism that's out there these days, and how we are kind of like the antithesis of a lot of the stereotypes that are out there about women who are 50, over 60, over 70. I thought, hey, you know what? This is fabulous, because Terry's in her 50s, I'm in my 60s, and Mariann's in her 70s. We should go ahead and talk about it. So that's why we're here. We're here to talk about all things having to do with what it's like being a woman in this country in particular after 50. What our opinions are, what are some of the things that we've observed. And this is all just our opinions. I mean, we've got some statistics and things like that. We're not necessarily experts in this, but we are definitely experts in this experience, I think, because we're living it. And we've been living it for a long time. So why not come on and kind of stir the pot, and as Terri would say, flip the script and talk about things that a lot of times women don't actually vocalize in public. This is the place where we're going to be talking about it. So Terri, what are we going to be talking about first?
I'm so excited. Well, before we get into our topics, I think we need to do some introductions, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll introduce myself real quick.
You go ahead first.
All right. I'm Mullins-Woods. I live in California. I'm married. I got 4 daughters and 6 grandchildren. 6 grandchildren as of Sunday morning. The 6th one was born. She's 3 days old. And I'm a holistic living and wellness expert for women over 40. I've been here for 16 years. Before that, I was in corporate America for 25 years. I'm 66 years old, and I am truly living my best life. There you go. I'm going to hand it over to you, Mariann. Aalda.
Okay. I see how this sent us a message.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do, so Tony, I think Tony is we've got Tony and Sam on Clubhouse. Until we figure out how this is going to work, I think what we should do is end our session on Clubhouse. But what I did is I put a link to our YouTube channel where we are streaming live. So Tony and Sam Marie, just click that link and it'll take you to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to enjoy the rest of the show. But I think we're going to have to end Clubhouse because of this little glitch. But hey,
Okay.
right.
Such is
Okay.
life. All right.
So we'll see you guys on YouTube. Tony and Sam Marie, make sure you grab that link that's in the chat. And we'll see you soon. And I'm going to end the room. I forgot how to end rooms in Clubhouse. It's been a long time.
3 dots. Those 3 dots.
All right, there you go. I just ended it.
Okay.
So we should be good. Let me get the volume back up here.
Okay.
All right.
Now what I need to do is I need to move the help box that I brought up to say, how do you mute this? And now I have this big help box and I can't see you all because it's dominating my screen and I keep pushing it for it to go away and it's not. Help, go away, help box. Send us a message. I want you to go away. I just want you to go. Help box. Why are you not doing? I'm pushing buttons and no message. Okay, hi everyone. Screw it. My camera's on. You can see me, right?
Yes.
Okay, well then. I'm Mariann Aalda. I'm 75 years old. And what we are doing is really important to me because we need to, as Terri said, we need to flip the script. We need to change the narrative. We need to change the storytelling about women and aging. And we are just, what I love about Terri and Lynnis, and I think what drew us all together, is we are just, badasses. It's like, we don't listen to, we don't listen to what people say. We don't listen to the rules. We make our own rules to live by.
Yeah.
Maverick.
That thing.
So that's it. But I sure wish I could get rid of this message box, this dumbass message box. Type a message. Okay.
You are watching us struggle with technology live.
Okay.
Who's ever watching, y'all know you have these struggles as well. So, all right. So, I'm Terri, and my last name is Holley. I promised to put my last name up here next time. I am so excited to be here. Let's see. I'm in my upper 50s. Looking forward to 60 very, very, very soon. So I have 2 jobs. I'm a digital marketer. I have my own business. I've been an entrepreneur for about 17 years, going on 18. And I also own a digital magazine called Revolution Gray. Check it out at revolutiongray.com. Revolution Gray is going into its 18th year of publication. So I'm really excited about that. And it all got started with a conversation about women making this courageous choice to let their hair go gray. And then just expanded upon all these different topics now. So, so that's what I do. I've been married for 33 years.
Wow.
I have a daughter who is an adult in grad school. She just left her house after being home for 3 years. So I'm like a little weepy, but I'll be all right. And I'm just so happy to be here. And I feel blessed to be doing this with 2 incredible women, Lynnis and Mariann, who I am just so grateful to have met on Clubhouse during the pandemic.
During the pandemic. Yeah, it saved our lives in so many ways. I don't know. I know this is true that you all have struck relationships with women that you still have, but this particular thing had everything to do with synergy. Mariann, Aalda, and I had some commonality in terms of a person that we knew. Remember Bianca, Meshach's wife?
Yes.
That's right. And then Terri and I had some commonality because I lived in Atlanta before, went to school in Atlanta, undergrad. So there were these like degrees of separation. You know how they talk about 7 degrees of separation? Well, usually for women, and in particular African-American women, like 2 or 3 degrees of separation. You're going to figure out somebody that you know or some place that you've gone or done or seen that is similar or the same. So we had a lot of things that we had in common. And I think that's wonderful. The other thing is when you're talking about flipping the script and getting rid of stereotypes and turning them on their ass, there's this really bad rumor going on around about how women can't get along, how we can't do things together and all that other crap. Not true at all. This is a collaborative effort We love each other, love each other's opinions. We challenge each other. Today, while we were texting back and forth, I was like, okay, I need you guys to, I was asking for more information on ageism, and I'll tell you why I was asking that later. And immediately they began giving me some information. No judgment about, well, why don't you know that or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So this has been a learning experience for me, and I hope for them too. And we just kind of want to share with you along our journey of learning and sharing. Because I don't know how many years between us, 200 years, whatever it is, we got a lot of wisdom to share. All together, what are we, 200 something years old? We got a lot to share.
Lynnis, first of all, I think because you and I know, but the audience won't know, the commonality of Bianca is Bianca Ferguson.
Yes.
Who is someone, now you went to college with Bianca? Is that how
yes.
Okay, you went to college with Bianca. You went to Spelman, right?
Right.
Atlanta? Okay, and Bianca Ferguson used to be on General Hospital, an ABC soap opera when I was on Edge of Night, an ABC soap opera. And her real life husband, Meshach Taylor, played my husband in the movie Class Act. And then again, I played his girlfriend on Designing Women. And a funny story is that I ran into Bianca one day at an audition, and she said, "Girl, you in bed with my husband more than I am."
That sounds like her.
That's Bianca. Yeah. And Terri, you say you've been married to the same man for 33 years. The same one person?
Amazing.
I've been married
One
I'm
person.
only able to get 25 together out of 2. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've actually known each other for over 40 years. So I was 17 and he was 18. And he was
Wow.
60 in December.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I've been married to my husband for 21 years, October 22nd. We chose to get married on the same day my parents got married. But I've known him since I was 4 years old. He's my second marriage. We got married in our 40s, but we went to high school together. Our mothers taught school in the same elementary school. We grew up in the same church, but we married other people initially, had children and everything by other people. But in our 40s, when he had been divorced for, 10, 15 years, I've been divorced for about 2 years. And we got married in our 40s. So there's another one you can turn upside your head. It's never too late.
No.
Never too late. I know people who are getting married in their 70s. So getting married in your 40s is no big deal. But that's kind of an interesting story because once again, smaller degree of separation, somebody who I've known. There's a great value, isn't there, Terri? Being married to someone that you've known all your life. They remember you when you were young. In my case, he remembers me when I had pigtails because he used to pull them. I couldn't stand him.
And now you're pulling him, right?
Right? I would hope.
Yeah. There's not much that my husband doesn't know about me, and he reminds me of that. He's like, well, 18-year-old Terri. I'm like, don't go there. So, we get a lot of that, and I do the same thing to him. But it's so funny. It's like it's sort of like you do change over the years, and it has felt like you have fallen in love and developed a relationship with a new person. Like each decade, we sort of grow and become new people. So it's interesting.
Which is interesting because sometimes the new people work, sometimes it doesn't. But
Exactly.
the hope is that somewhere along the way, you find your way back to each other. I mean, really, marriage is an endurance test.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
2 to tango, but it only takes 1 to break it up. It's
True.
like one person decides,
That's it.
I'm gonna drop out. I don't know. I would say in my 70s, marriage is not a goal, but it would be nice to have a full-time man some of the time. It's to do things with, to share my bed with sometimes, but I think we would have to live in separate places. He would have to have his place, and we would have sleepovers and stuff like that. And that's really becoming quite popular with older people now who are without partners in their later life and just getting together later in life, because I am set in my ways. And
Right.
some of the things, and I'm not real adaptable because I like who I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now but I'm also more accepting. So he doesn't have to change for me, and I'm not going to change for him. And I think that's what happens when you get older. But we initially wanted to talk about the Golden Bachelor, right? So can we
Yeah.
Golden Bachelor?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Amazing.
So what do you think?
So, all three of us know somebody who was on the show. She was a bachelorette, Natasha.
Natasha, hey, Natasha.
So I don't know.
Another one of our Clubhouse sisters, as a matter of fact.
Yes, she's wonderful. She's funny. She brought it. She did not get a rose last week. However, she was fantastic. And she ended the show in a very interesting way. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. But let's talk about this show. It's amazing. 4.3 million viewers, like crazy. The largest premiere for Hulu ever. It's like what?
I think that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No. I knew it was going to be a sensation before it even came on, because there's such a need for it. And now we've got it covered. East Coast, Terri, you're in DC, Lynnis, you're in Sacramento and California. I'm in Chicago. I'm in the Midwest. So we've got it covered. And I think living in the Midwest, having lived on both the East Coast and the West Coast, and being in the entertainment industry and knowing the Hollywood mindset, there is a certain condescension, or I'd say patronizing, about women who live in the Midwest. They call the Midwest the flyover, at least in the entertainment industry. I know this because of the scripts that I have gotten for women my age. She's broke down and toe up. She's crazy. She's a curmudgeon, or she's the butt of the joke. And what I love about the Golden Bachelor is that these women are from all over the country. Yeah. And these are real women with real jobs, and, no aspirations for Hollywood. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. But the fact is that I think Hollywood is now being educated about what real women look like, because I am tired of people saying, when I say I'm 75, and they say, oh, you don't look 75. I say, but yes, I do. It's just that you're not used to seeing this kind of 75 on television.
Right.
That's very true. I got that same thing when I was at the doctor's office for the well baby check. You don't look 66, and I was thinking, my first thought is, well, thank you. Then my second thought is, well, what does 66 look like? 66 looks like, when I think back, and you know how you used to watch the movies after school, the old movies from the 50s now, which are now ancient movies, and the mothers were wearing, black saddle Oxford type shoes, net in their hair, black dress button up to the thing, wrinkles, no makeup, and their kids were like teenagers. I'm like, wow. And that was like maybe 40s in the movies or whatever. And over the years, this kind of changed. I mean, Beaver's mom had on pearls and high heels while she was vacuuming.
I think my mother did too.
I tried that, didn't work. So there's been this thing, but either way it goes, it's on opposite ends, but there's no realism there. The reality is, these days, most women in their 50s, 60s, 70s can look pretty good if they choose to. Did you guys see Stephen A's reaction to how he looked?
Wow, he was like,
yeah. He was just going off on just how great these women looked, period. And they do look great. But it's like, it's not as unusual as one might think. Exactly. It's just that we are so used to the stereotype of what it should be like. Now, you guys know I'm going to be the fly in the ointment. You know how I feel about The Bachelor. I don't like it. I don't like the idea. I don't care what age it is. I don't like the idea of a whole bunch of women lining up for one man. I just don't like that. It's just not my thing.
They reversed the roles, okay? Just to be fair.
Okay. Oh, with the Bachelorette thing? I didn't see.
Yeah, they have a Bachelorette and a bunch of single.
I did not see that.
Absolutely. So I don't know if they're going to do this for this series, but we'll see. But no, I totally get it. I understand.
Yeah, I don't like that. I just didn't like the idea of, pick me. Like the kitties in a pet store. But other than that, it is great to see women who look like me out there. It is great to see the attempt of diversity. no matter how far-fetched it probably was. I mean, he's from Indiana, come on. But still, the idea of doing that, I think is, I'm thinking their heart is in the right place. Either way it goes, it has paid off in spades in terms of people watching the show. And that says a lot about what's going on in America right now. I think, first of all, we just need something which could be considered fantasy, because this is kind of fantasy, something else to be thinking about, first of all.
Yeah.
And the guy, in my opinion, everybody says he's such a great guy. So I'm assuming that he is. Natasha said he was really a great guy. His voice drives me crazy, but that's okay. I'm not the one there. So that's probably a good reason why I'm not. His voice just drives me crazy. But overall, if I were to like give it a rating in terms of how often will I watch it on a scale from 1 to 10, I'll say like about a 7. Because since Natasha was on, I want to see, well, who ended up.
Mhm.
But otherwise, if Natasha had never been on, I probably wouldn't have watched it at all. I'm just saying. I know I'm the fly in the ointment, but that's.
I liked it.
I'm looking at the chat over here, and it's like,
Okay.
hi, Linda. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Donna. And it's like, Linda says, is that a message for life? Go away, help box. Yes, it is. And the help box went away. I found the little thing at the bottom, and I
Okay.
pushed it, and the whole box went away. So
Hey, Donna. I just want to say, Donna, it's one of my clients. Hi, Donna. I'm so glad you're here.
So I thought it was a wonderful representation of aging in America. Like I've talked to both of you about this. I think a lot of people think we're sitting around, doing nothing all day long. So I'm not going to say knitting, lottery, because, people might get upset about that. But there is this perception of what people in their 50s do on a daily basis, and it really kind of shatters that perception. So I'm really, really happy about that. I wasn't too thrilled about one of the bachelors saying aging sucks, because I'm trying to change that narrative, right?
Yeah, I got kind of mad at her for that. I'm like, why would you
Yeah,
say that on a show like this?
like,
But that's her truth, I guess.
yeah,
Which kind of negates the whole reason. Well, why are you here then if you're so miserable? You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, oh, too bad.
exactly.
I wish you didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
That's
when
what
you
we're trying to
see
move
her,
away
she
from.
had the most. I think she'd had a
Yeah,
lot of work done.
she wasn't
So
the
she
only
was
one. There
really
were a
fighting
few of
against.
them.
And
Yeah,
she
that
was
probably
a
that,
therapist.
well, that might be why it's sex, because that crap hurts.
I
I'm
wouldn't
just saying.
know.
Oh, that
But
surgery, that hurts.
I do want to say this. All of us have read different pieces about the show.
Mhm.
And I just want to say, if you're watching and you're a journalist under 40 that wrote anything about this show and spoke about it in terms of it being, unconventional, like, what the hell does that mean? The women being horny, the women seeming desperate, Jerry being sort of like an anomaly because, a 72-year-old man doesn't look like that or can't look like that. Take several seats. Thank you.
Yeah. All that means to me is keep living, okay? Keep living. All these people that are making these rash judgments about what it must be like to be this way, they haven't lived to that yet. When they live to that, they might think twice about their judgments of what it is at that age, because they're living that age. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, wait a minute. So it just shows that they're living their own little myopic world, and they just haven't lived long enough yet. And they're ignorant,
Yeah. What I love about it is that it's aspirational. I mean, you can't achieve it if you can't believe it, and it's hard to believe if you can't see it. So they're presenting an image that is like, yeah, you can look like that if you get your ass up off the couch and go to the gym and work out. I mean, he doesn't just, if you see the man, they will show him on the treadmill, on the bicycle, walking. There are things that you do that we look at us. I mean, we all do. We take care of ourselves. We do the work. And some people, okay, I know
I do.
I am trained as a hypnotherapist. Okay, so I understand the belief system and the mind-body connection. I think so many people are living out the expectations of what it's like to get older, the negative expectations, because that's what they've been entranced to believe. And so they've adopted that as their belief system. If they change their belief systems, if they can see something different, their behavior will change and they can live up to that. And it's not
Absolutely.
just a looks thing, it's a health thing.
Right. Right. So I love the show. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Love it. Yeah,
Okay.
just because of that perception that this show has been given an opportunity to change. I think that's huge. It may not be perfect. There might be some things that we don't like about it, and I hear you, Lynnis, about pick me. I get that, but my goodness, just to see so many. How many? There's 22 bachelorettes.
Mhm.
All over the age. I think they're over 55, if I'm correct.
There's 60 to 75 is the
60,
age range.
75. I mean, my gosh. Like,
That's
really?
amazing.
It is amazing. So I give it an 8.
What about you, Mariann?
Give it an 8. I give it a 10. First of all, I said, Linda Hughes says, and those things to take care of ourselves should be lifelong, right? Taught to us in our youth,
Yeah.
staying healthy, moving our bodies. I give it a 10. And the reason I do that is because, and Terri, you brought this up about some of the reviewers, the younger reviewers who are a little snarky in their
Yeah,
reviews.
they
Like, oh, you're too, they're saying you're too old for that or act your age. And I look at it as, if you are experiencing love if your emotions are getting awakened, it's okay to be giddy, to feel like, oh my God, and these women are being genuine and they're being authentic and they're just acting out how they're not holding back. And that's what I like about that. They're allowing themselves to be vulnerable. And because we're not used to seeing it, I think people are holding in judgment about that. And I think we need to stop judging and just let the women be, because I think this group of women is probably more authentic than some of the younger shows. Because I think people come on just to, they're trying to, trying to make their careers and, and up their followers on Instagram. But you listen to their stories, some of them have been widowed or divorced without partners for a decade or more. I've been divorced for 20 years. Okay, now I'm married young. I married my college sweetheart. So the first half of my life, I was married. So I'm kind of living my life backwards. And I think of myself as a serial monogamist. So there have been relationships in between there. Some I ended, some that were ended by death. So I might not have been married, but I understand the widowhood of a lost relationship and that grieving process. But I'm open to the possibilities. Now, the thing about it is that, and this is what I saw with all these women, and I can relate to them because I am a single woman like these women. They want to be in a relationship as an addition to their lives. It's the cherry on the sundae. But these women all have stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have been chosen. They're not looking for a man to complete them. They
Right.
are complete unto themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that impression. In fact, I was asking Natasha, did she know, how many had applied? And I guess it was thousands. So these women represent, I guess, a good cross section, but also the cream of the crop in terms of certain things I'm sure they were looking for. No cycle people, no, bankrupt people, credit of 40 and stuff like that, that kind of thing. So yeah, these are women who could be real viable options for a man if they were considering being married. It's interesting because at this stage of life, you definitely don't want to be marrying any hot mess. You definitely don't want that.
Right.
There are still hot mess. It's not that if you get older, you're lucky enough to be this old that you have it all together, because there are a lot of people who still don't. You can still be a hot mess. Has nothing to do with age, but everything to do with just how the choices that you've made and how you live your life. And one thing I did notice, they didn't say a lot about the careers of all the women. I don't know what they all do. And I thought that was interesting. But Natasha was saying that there was a reason for that, because they didn't want to make it seem like that would be the focus in terms of the choice that he made.
But they did, though. They put it out there. I mean, I know
bits and pieces.
there's an engineer. I mean,
Mhm.
when they put it out there, they gave their names and their
At
occupation.
the very beginning?
At the very beginning, you
Okay.
know, physical therapist, you know, Stephen S says, you know,
Yeah.
so-and-so is a physical therapist, so and so is a this, so and so is a school teacher, a hospital administrator. We know that they've all had careers.
Careers. Mhm.
One was a I think owned a beauty shop. You know, they were entrepreneurial. There were of different education levels, but it wasn't the education. It was the personality and who they were, and they were all full of themselves in a good way. You know what I mean? They were
Mhm.
Yeah. Very confident.
Confident.
yeah.
Confident.
Bring a
Yeah.
lot to
And you
the
can think
table.
that's another thing that is a fallacy. And I only know this because of all the women I've worked with over 40 through the years. People assume that as you get older, you're more confident. That's not necessarily true. And part of it has to do with society and how they view aging and how that chips away at whatever confidence you've been able to garner over the years. You get to that point, and then all of a sudden it's like this because everybody's, trashing the fact that you're over 50. Linda Hughes said, she said, a hot mess, looking for a nurse or a purse. We do need to watch out for men like that, girl.
Yeah.
So true. I have a friend who got married and became a nurse like within a year.
Yeah.
And the thing about it was he knew that he was sick and didn't tell her.
Isn't
Yeah.
that grounds for an annulment?
I don't know.
I
Could
think
be. Could
they're
be.
illegal because that's bait and switch.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so she ended up taking care of him until he died. Now, of course, when he passed away, he left her everything, but then she had to deal with his kids because they were like, well, you've only been in his life for a couple of years and blah, 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 blah. It was just, Linda, a hot mess.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, well, our needs, our goals, all of that changes as we get older. And that trickles right into the relationships that we enter into. And I have a lot of friends who are single that say, and they're older, saying that companionship right now for them is really what they want. So I don't know if that means, getting sick and having some,
Well,
but I do hear that it's companionship.
What, Mariann?
And I do have a few girlfriends,
well, there's holding hands, and then there's other things that you can do with your hands too. They don't necessarily have to be excluded. I think everybody's libido is different, and
Yeah.
what they want is different. And the idea of sex is, I would say, okay, I talk about this in my stand-up. When you're younger, sex is about the destination. Hit that G-spot, get that orgasm. As an older woman, I think of sex as the journey. Enjoying the journey, enjoy the foreplay, enjoy getting there. Take your time. Make it last as long as you can. And then, and it's not about ejaculation. It's not about penetration even.
Right.
It's about and what is foreplay? Foreplay isn't just stroking. Foreplay could happen when it could be a kind gesture when somebody just
Yes, that's
gives
true.
that look.
That's interesting. Your definition of romance, I think, begins to change as you get older because you have a frame of reference. Some of those most romantic dates turned out to be some of the worst experiences ever overall in terms of relationships. So, that's not necessarily what you define or what you lead with first when you're looking for a relationship. I would imagine when you're older, you're looking at other things that are more like about you and your personal needs, and not just like what looks good or what should feel good or whatever. I don't know. I know for me personally, I really came into my own after 50 in terms of realizing how much I didn't know about myself and how much I needed to heal. How long it had taken me to get to a point where I could really enjoy sex and enjoy getting to know men as people and not as prospects.
Yeah. Well, speaking of prospects, that that was a terrible segue.
It was going to be good until you said terrible. It was good. I was with you.
No, speaking of prospects, because this doesn't have anything to do with prospects. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Okay.
Other than moving right along to the next topic. And well, actually, what does make a good prospect? I mean, I guess if I am in the market to be in a relationship, I am a prospect, right?
Yes.
You're prospecting.
Any prospectors out there? Yeah. No, but it's interesting. We've changed. I think we've come to accept aging in a way. Okay, like Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is getting this whole big attention now because she's not wearing makeup. She went to the Paris Fashion Show, Paris Fashion Week, and she appeared without any makeup on. And it got so much press, like, oh my God, it's not a cure for cancer. She just didn't wear makeup to a fashion show. What I love about it is the deeper story, which is I think Pamela Anderson is a very smart woman. She's a very smart marketer. When big boobs were in, and they still may be, but they're not trending as much. She had big boobs. She took them out. Now getting older, and she's smart enough to know that she's not going to get any younger. And I would say, as an actor, I would say the women in the entertainment industry tended to hold on for as long as they could. And they saw a lot of really bad plastic surgery, over the top, and trying to stay young. I think this next generation of actresses who are in their like 40s and 50s now are not doing that. They want to change the narrative on getting older and allow themselves to just be. And that's what Pamela is doing. And she's setting herself up as an icon for someone who does that. And I say more power to her.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember that this wasn't just trending with her. She didn't start this whole not makeup thing. If you remember back in 2016, Alicia Keys was the one to come out with no makeup. And I just did some research. She's wearing makeup now. She went back to it. But we have to give Alicia Keys her props for
well, but she wasn't wearing makeup in her 20s. We're talking about somebody not wearing makeup in her 50s.
Yeah, right. But it's still no makeup. Both are women, right? We're expected to look our best at all times, unfortunately. So, Alicia Keys said, hey, society isn't going to tell me what to do or what not to do. I'm not going to wear makeup. So I appreciate that. She's back to her makeup though, but she said through the process, it was very freeing and it really taught her a little bit more about herself. But, let's just talk about makeup for a minute. I'm wearing a little bit makeup now. I don't like it. I don't like to wear it like I used to when I was younger. I don't think brands are doing a really good job with creating makeup for mature skin. That's just my opinion. I haven't found a brand that I really, really like. There's a couple, we might talk about it on the show, but we're not endorsing you unless you pay us. So
that's right.
But I don't think they do a great job. I also am not a fan of makeup brands, jumping on this bandwagon of pro aging and, to try to make a quick buck. We know who you are. Did I say that? We know who you are. Like if age activity hasn't been at the core of who you are for the last 40 years, we know what's going on. So I think that there's a lot of progress that needs to be made with brands as well. And I'm tired of seeing young women like my daughter, advertise for makeup. Like if you want me to buy a contouring kit, like show me a woman 60 years old using it, and then I'll think about it. So I have lots of issues with makeup. It's one reason why I don't wear it as much as others. I would say about 95% of the time, I go makeupless.
What, Mariann?
I was just thinking maybe next week we should come on and we should have our little makeup bags with us and then just show people what we do.
Okay, I'm game for that. I am a fan of makeup, obviously. But I go days and days around here without makeup. For me, I think it has something to do with how I grew up. I grew up watching my mom put makeup on every day before she went to work and when she would go out. She and my dad went to a lot of formals and things like that growing up. And so it's kind of a way of maybe imitating my mom or, subconsciously, I guess. And I have 4 daughters, and one of them is a makeup glam star. But the rest of them are kind of like, not really that big of a deal. But one thing I can say about the quality of the makeup, regardless of how great the makeup is, if you don't have a good skincare regime, then that makeup is not going to give you any good at all. And I know that I can go without makeup in terms of skin makeup. In fact, I don't have that much skin makeup on right now. So that is really important too. I think sometimes people substitute makeup, women, especially older women, will substitute makeup for a good skincare regime. And so much of that is dependent upon what you put in your body, first of all, and not the plastic surgeries and all the different creams and retinol and all other kind of stuff. What you put in your body, are you getting enough sleep? Are you working out so that you can get rid of the toxins through sweating that are in your skin? Are you exfoliating? Do you have a regime that makes sense? Okay. And so if you're wondering why you have this gray pallor, well, if you exfoliate and get rid of that dead skin, then you would have a nice dewy underneath, So a lot of it has to do with the other stuff that you do to support the makeup looking better than just slapping it on. And a lot of women, older women too, will slap it on and it just makes them look worse instead of look better, in my opinion.
Here you go. Here's the trio. Hydrate.
Yes.
Exfoliate.
Where's my water bottle?
Masturbate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't you tell the women, I can, who haven't had an orgasm in a long time? I mean, you can just kind of tell, and it does impact you. I'm all for women having orgasms, whether they have partners or not, because it's good for your health. It helps to balance your hormones in a way that no kind of HRT can do. And you don't have to have a partner to have an orgasm.
Right.
You really don't. Sometimes you can have a partner and still not have an orgasm, right? Am I right?
Let your fingers do the walking.
Let your fingers do the walking.
Are we there something out there? I don't know.
But it's all true. These are things that, women have a tendency not to talk about, and definitely not older women. But I'm telling you right now, as a wellness expert, orgasms are key to your overall mind, body, spirit health. It really is. It's important that you have an orgasm weekly, daily, if you can. Daily is really fantastic. It's also good for
skincare routine.
Yes, absolutely. It's good for your vaginal health. It's good for balancing your hormones. It's good for stress. And it's also good for secreting other hormones that you need to keep you looking younger than you are, if that's something that's important to you. If you're walking around happy because you had orgasms, it's amazing how much younger you look than walking around frowning upset because you haven't done that in a long time. I'm just
Oh, yes. I got a song for you. Here you go.
All right.
Make love, not war. Make love, not war. Embrace one another and forget what you're fighting for. Sex is a stress release. That's what the doctor said. So let's stop all the fighting, baby, and get on back to bed.
Bravo, Benito. So true.
Love it. Love it. Oh my gosh. So I cannot believe it's been 45 minutes. This show is just flying by. I know we had a few other things we wanted to talk about. Let's just do a show reset. If you are just watching us, if you're just tuning in and wondering why we're talking about orgasms being a part of the skincare routine, I love it. You are watching the Golden Women Show. This is the premiere show for us. I'm Terri. Lynnis is over there with the gorgeous gray hair. Mariann's in the middle, and we're going to be here I think we're going to stick with Wednesdays. We're going to see if maybe another day of the week might work. Maybe. For now, you can catch us here on YouTube Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So welcome everybody.
Yeah.
You
Hump day.
are listening
We
to
will help you get over the hump.
Yes.
Bring an adult beverage. I think I might do that the next time, but could you imagine me? It's like I'm pretty loosey-goosey without any alcohol. So maybe be a good
Isn't that interesting? I believe as you get older, if you really peel back the layers and do the work that's necessary, you can have a natural high and not need all that other extra stuff. Seriously, I have more joy on a daily basis than I ever did when I was younger. And I think it's because at some point in time, you decide to do the work that's necessary to let go of all the unforgiveness, the anger, and all that other kind of stuff. And now some people don't, and those are the ones who look like old hags. But the ones that do,
Yeah.
the ones that do, that's what that light is, because you're not
Yeah.
carrying that weight any longer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it takes a little bit of work, but it's worth it. Don't you think it's worth it?
Yeah,
I mean, I've never been happier than I am now. Is my life perfect? Oh, hell no. My life won't be perfect until I'm in heaven, if that's what it takes. But I just find joy in every day. It's not that serious. And let's face it, at this stage of the game, everything really does work out for you. It starts working out when you
Right.
don't wake up. Okay. It's when you're
Yeah.
gone on, but everything basically does work out. And at this point, we probably have gone through the majority of what life is all about in terms of loss, heartbreak, just all that stuff that happens in the course of the year. We are no longer at those hair on fire moments, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's my kids are still there in the 30s, you're still there. But by this time, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,
Yeah, much
you're not doing
smoother.
that. No.
Much smoother.
yeah.
Speaking of which, this 2 days ago, I think it was National Ageism Day.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Was
Saturday,
it Saturday?
October the 7th was National Ageism Day, and it is the Association of SA. What the hell?
One
Look
of
at
them.
it. It's the Ageism Awareness Day, but it's part of the Institute of Public Health. Is under their auspices, and it's about changing the narrative. Ableism, sexism, racism, all of those isms, we pretty much know that they're bad and they are frowned upon. But for some reason, ageism is the last socially acceptable prejudice. For some reason, it's okay to make old people the butt of the joke. Not funny.
Not funny.
Mm-mm.
Not funny. So I love to see it. I wasn't active on Saturday, but I hope to be next year. I know, Mariann, you did a few morning shows, right? You did a few interviews on the topic.
Yeah, I did. I talked about something. Oh, and I have a TED Talk. And everybody, I have a TED Talk. Ageism is a bully. Stand up to it. We have to see. This is the thing, and I think this is why we're doing this show. This is certainly what I consider my life's purpose about changing the narrative on women and aging. Becca Levy did a study at Yale University. People who have a positive attitude about getting older live on average 7.5 years longer than people who have a negative attitude about getting older. And having trained as a hypnotherapist, I realized that it's what you believe affects your behavior. So how we get older really is about mindset. And if it's getting older is something we dread, then guess what? We're going to die earlier because we don't want to get to be old. But if we look at getting older as something to aspire to, and we look like it could be fun, and I want to be there. I want to be that kind of older person. Then we set our sails into the wind, and that's the direction we go into. And that's what we're.
You know what I think is really important about the work that you're doing, Mariann, and what we're hoping this show will do for others is that I know our younger sisters are watching us. And I've had many of them, those in their 40s and 30s, tell me, I want to be like you when I get to that stage. And it's not that I'm all that. That's not what I mean. What I mean is just the idea that
You are all of that, Lynnis. You are all of that.
That's right.
That wasn't the point. The point is that we're all, showing up and pursuing our passions and goals instead of, becoming specialists in Netflix and when the next cruise is going to go. And I mentioned cruise because a lot of people think that's what old people do, is go on cruises and go golfing. And, I went to all my cruises when I was young. If I never go on another cruise again, I'm fine with that. But whatever it is, whatever category you fall in, just as long as you're pursuing your passion and doing what's making you happy. And a lot of times, back in the day, perhaps, women, when our parents were in their 40s and they were looking at women that were in their 70s and 80s, there wasn't that kind of passionate stuff going on. They were put in other boxes, and they were staying in those boxes, the child care providers, taking care of their parents, waiting to die, basically, kind of thing. That has been kind of the narrative. Whether that was really true or not, that remains to be seen, but that was the narrative. And we kind of all went with that. Well, that is no longer the narrative. I think that, women over 50 in particular are standing up and saying, that is not who I am. And that's not who I want to be. And I'm going to consciously make a decision to live in a different way. I had to show, remember we were talking about the New Yorker today, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about
Okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
Because do you have do you have a copy of the cover?
I can try to find it on my phone.
I have it. So when you're ready, I can share screen, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, sorry about that.
All are going to hear it from us right now.
Yeah.
So what we want to do during the show is award somebody as being the ageist of the week. And then we're also going to give an award for somebody who's an age ally. So we're really excited about that. And so we can go
My phone rang and now I can't hear anymore. What the hell?
Oh no.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
But before that you do that, I do want to say this. I do think that a lot of people, and the reason why a lot of people become ageist is because of fear, right? They're afraid of getting older. And I'm going to be honest and put it out there. There are some reasons to be afraid of being older, right? So you can definitely, that mindset helps, but we are living in a society where ageism is not respected and honored, right? And I saw this in my mother's life. Later on, she passed when she was 91. The other thing is my mother was super healthy. She took care of herself. She lived to 91, but she was losing a lot of her friends. I mean, I can't count the amount of funerals that she had to go to between like 80 and 90. It was sad to see all her friends leave. She was one of 6. She was the last sibling left. And so that can be sad and that can be hard. And our society is not, I think, really kind to people who are aging. And so that piece can be hard. And I want to put that out there because that is a reality. However, I think your mindset does play a huge role in just enjoying the last phase of your life. There's so much to be enjoyed. But I do think about people who are lonely, who have lost people, and just don't fit into society anymore because everything has changed. I remember my mother always saying she felt like an alien, right? She was trying to, this was around the time we were trying to she got an iPhone. Oh my God. And we were trying to explain how the apps work and figure out, how to get her texting. And she just was like, I just don't, I feel like I don't belong here anymore. So I get that. And if you're feeling that, I get that.
My aunt is experiencing that. She is 91. And I remember growing up that she had these friends that she used to play cards with. And they would meet once a month religiously for years and years and years. And there was like about maybe 10 of them or something like that. 2 card tables, Now it's just between her and one other lady. Everybody else has died.
Yeah.
And, she doesn't talk much about being sad. Her mindset has been that she's going to enjoy life on her terms and not on anybody else's in terms of what she thinks she needs to be doing. Like if she doesn't feel comfortable going out and meeting people, she invites them to her house instead. And that's fine. She's close to her children. She's close to me and, the people in the family. She stays in touch with everyone. She knows everybody's birthday. She has decided to live life on her terms and not on everybody else's terms. And I respect that because sometimes we think that, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, thinking we're helping, keeping them engaged or whatever. But she's doing what feels good to her.
Yeah. Right.
And, I think that's important as you get older to know what you want to do and what you don't want to do and be true to that. I think the need to please disease, the cure comes with age. At least that's my hope. And I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I'm at the last little bit. I need one more inoculation and then I'm done.
I'm done.
Are
Girl,
you
it's
done?
good. Come on, join us.
Marianne's trying to get back. She says I'm back, but no, you're not, honey. We can't see you.
Now, actually, let me just try one thing.
Okay.
And let me get rid of the chat overlay. No, I still don't see Mariann.
Oh no.
Yeah. So she said she's back. I don't see you.
We don't see you, Mariann. You're back where? Are you on your computer or your phone? I think she was on her computer. She was on her iPad. Yeah, I don't see her. We lost Mariann.
She might pop up. Mm-hmm. So yes. And there's so much, we talk about gratefulness and appreciation, and that being a huge element in just our mental health. And I think it also helps with aging as well. Being grateful. That's what I think about a lot when I start to think about going into my 6th decade, and I start to think about things too. I wouldn't say that I'm fearful, but I start to think, oh my God, what are these next 20 years going to be like? And I start to see my, changes in my body, and I'm like, ooh, what, what's this? What is that? Right? But what squashes all of that is just gratefulness. Thinking, oh my gosh, I've been given, and so have you, Lynnis, this gift of longevity. And isn't that something? There were so many people who
There's so many that didn't get, I went through a rash in my 50s of losing some of my high school friends. And by the time we got close to 60, those of us that were still left, it was a real wake-up call, because we were only seeing each other at funerals, weddings and funerals. No more weddings at this point, but at funerals. And we decided to stay in touch with each other, and we called ourselves the SSS, Sexy 60s, or Sensational Sexy 60s. And we do things. We celebrate each other's birthdays. We get together. And what's happened is that we've become each other's family. So, because so many of us have lost both of our parents at this point. I think there's only 1 or 2 that might have one parent left. The rest of us have lost our parents. And the funny thing is that these are women who knew me when I had pigtails. But the other thing is so valuable, they knew my parents. They have their own memories of their parents. And those kinds of things are nurturing and kind of get you going as well. And for those of you who are listening, especially those in the hashtag replay, I challenge you, that name of that person or whatever that's been floating around your head, you need to reach out to and get together with, go ahead and do that. It is so nurturing to the soul, because you get a chance to go down memory lane and kind of remember from whence you came, and to have a sense of joy that, hey, you made it through, and here's another person that made it with you. I think sometimes what happens as we get older, especially with women, we have a tendency to self-select out, to kind of isolate, don't reach out because you're thinking, oh, well, she's too busy, or she doesn't have time, or whatever. Well, they're thinking the same thing on the other end. So go ahead and reach out and start talking to each other and creating new memories together, rather than waiting until something happens, God forbid, and then you're crying at the funeral because you didn't make that phone call.
Yeah.
This is the time to be reaching out. This is the time to go to those reunions that you didn't go to when you were 30. If they're still good, if they're still giving them, you should really go. They're a lot of fun. And sometimes it's kind of like, whoa, look what happened to so-and-so. But other times it's like, wow, look what happened to so-and-so. It's really a great life affirmer. It makes you grateful. That's for sure.
I need name tags.
Can you see Mariann? She says she's backstage in black and white.
Oh, okay. I don't see her on my screen, but I'm going to check one thing, and then we got to talk about this.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm going to see if I can share my screen so they can see it too.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. But let me see if I can get her back in. So y'all, we're just like sitting in your living room having a conversation, nothing formal. So, hey, technology is what it is. So let me try to see if I can get her back. Hold on.
Okay. Can you guys see that, New Yorker? If you can, and you're still here, just send me a little note real quick to let me know that you can see it. This is the magazine cover we want to talk about. Had you seen this magazine cover? I hadn't seen it. The Terri, and actually it's Mariann Aalda who's always sending us all this great stuff. Mariann sent this to us, or it was Terri sent it to us.
Hey,
There she
Mariann.
is. Hey, Terri, can you see that cover? Okay.
Thanks, Terri. I'm back.
Oh, good.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm having.
You can't see it, huh?
Oh, okay. So, can you guys
Okay,
see
good.
that?
There it is.
Yeah. Appalling. You know.
It's our country's leaders walking with wheelchairs. I'm walkers.
Yeah.
Not funny.
Not funny. Not cute.
No, not funny. But then again, that's the ageism. It's okay to make fun of old people. That's ridiculous.
Right.
And I think what's happening now. Oh, Linda's leaving. Bye, Linda.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's not funny.
It isn't.
And I take offense to it. And I
Mhm.
know that some of us have been talking about some politicians and people saying things about their age and then, you know, the need for them to retire and take several seats and things like that. Now, that being said, I am a fan and an advocate of term limits. And it's only because
I agree.
I'm trying to think, the senator from Iowa, forgot his name, has been a senator since I graduated from high school. Now,
I agree with you there. It has nothing to do with age.
Yeah.
How
much has
Is
changed?
that Grassley? Is that
Yes, Grassley. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How much has changed in the world since 1982? And I'm not saying that he's too old to keep up with the times. I'm just saying, you know, I think there's some value in the younger generation bringing their voices to the table. And things do change. And sometimes, I'm not saying this for about everybody, but sometimes you get set in your ways. So I am a fan of term limits. I am not a fan of anything that mocks somebody's age because they're politicians.
And I mean, my goodness, they have a term limit for the president of the United States.
Right.
So why not have it for other elected officials? And it's not an age thing. It's about different points of view. It really, I think, would cut down the whole idea of cronyism and corruption and everything else if people are only in there. But if you're in there for years and years and years, you know you're going to start doing things.
Right. I think if there's a two-term limit, and then that's it. I think maybe you can run again after you take time out and learn some stuff. Because I think what happens is that people get set in their ways and their habits. It's just like any profession. You've got to keep up with stuff. And if you don't have to run, if you just like a given that you're gonna, you know, be reelected again.
Where's it?
Learned your job. You're not really doing anything.
Right.
Where's
the incentive to grow? Yeah. And to learn and all of that. So yeah, I agree with you on that. But I don't agree with using age as a determining factor as to whether or not you should do anything, you know. And these people who advocate that, they have an age limit. Let's see how they feel in about 20 years. Okay. Let's see how you feel when people come to take you away to the, you know, to green pastures, and all of a sudden you'll be like, oh no. But you know, once again, people haven't had it in their experience. They have a tendency not to have the empathy because it just hasn't happened. Keep living.
Exactly.
Wait, and on that note, keep living. I think it's the top of the hour. I think that's a good note to end out on.
That's a good note.
Perfect.
Keep living and keep living, and see you next week.
See you next week. Tell a friend, come back. We would love to have you. Thanks so much, Terri, Mariann. Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. And thank you for joining us on Clubhouse. We're going to see if we can work Clubhouse out. I don't know. But if not, we'll be back here next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time. Did I get all that right? On YouTube. Share this with your friends. We loved all of you coming and joining in on the chat. Thank you. Victoria, thank you so much. We had a bunch of other people that joined. So bring your friends. We're going to have a great time. And we're going to do makeup. What else did we say we're going to do?
We're
I
gonna
don't know. Oh, green wine, libations, maybe.
Oh,
makeup.
yes.
Maybe we'll
Next
do some hair things. Who knows? We'll share some of our little tricks.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. You
Okay.
can see how I do my wash and goes. So.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'll have to show them my gray hair extensions. Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
All right.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
See y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.